Greetings, my name is James Curtis Geis. I've been a history teacher for 20 years. I've been writing since 2016. I love my coffee and I love my Dr. Squatch cologne. If you enjoy my stories, please hit like and subscribe. Thank you. Today's story is coming from Modern Augustinian Confession. And this is about the time that I made a phone call to Richard Holbrooke, who was the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations at the time. I used to be the New York City director of the American Anti-Slavery Group from 1996 through 2000, speaking to colleges, radio, and television about modern-day slavery. I often spoke about the genocide and slavery taking place in Sudan at the time. On March 26, 2000, I read an article in the New York Times Magazine called The Ambitions of Richard Holbrooke. Holbrooke was the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, and he dedicated January to focusing on issues in Africa. I was impressed how Holbrooke was able to work out a peace agreement with the Dayton Peace Accords in December of '95 between Bosnia and Herzegovina. I thought to myself, I wonder if Holbrooke is aware of what's happening in Sudan. So the next day, I make a phone call to his office. Richard Holbrooke was born in 1941 in New York City. He attended Brown University. He became a fellow at the Woodrow Wilson School of Public and International Affairs at Princeton University. At 24, he served on a team of experts for President LBJ. From 1970 to 76, he was assigned to the Peace Corps in Morocco. From 77 to 81, he was the top advisor to Secretary of State Cyrus Vance. In 1977, he traveled to Indonesia to address 100,000 East Timorese who had been killed there. He was an advisor to Al Gore for the 1988 presidential campaign. He was an ambassador to Germany in 1993 through 94. He advocated for NATO enlargement. From 1999 to 2001, he was the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. He also was an advisor to Lehman Brothers. He was part of the Trilateral Commission and the Bilderberg Group. So, back to me calling the U.S. ambassador in late March of 2000. On Monday, March 27th, I called up the ambassador and his secretary picked up. I informed her that I had read the New York Times Magazine article and wanted to know if he ever talked to the staff about Sudan. I was informed that he was out of the office, and I told her I was the New York City director of the American Anti-Slavery Group and how Sudan was trying to get on the United Nations Human Rights Commission. I told her about the genocide and the modern-day slavery being practiced in Sudan. The secretary said, I will speak to Richard about this. She said, something must be done about this. So I reached out to Nina Shea, who is in charge of the Freedom House in Washington, D.C., and Dr. Charles Jacobs in Boston, who was the founder of the American Anti-Slavery Group. A date was set up where they met with the ambassador, and in October of 2000, Richard Holbrooke, through his lobbying efforts, was able to keep Sudan off the Human Rights Commission. Sadly, in 2001, Sudan and Pakistan became members of the United Nations Human Rights Commission. In the fall of 2015, HBO put out a documentary on Holbrooke, on his life and career. He died on December 13th of 2010. He's interred at the Oakland Cemetery in Sag Harbor, New York. So, sometimes one phone call or one person can make a difference. So God bless you, all humans and ETs. All my books are on Amazon, and thank you so much for listening.